you know what, Jimmy? You're going to be caned, and they're going to continue caning you.
And if it wasn't for her firm stance, hii dunia ingekuwa ingine.
The final farewell. Mama Lucy Kibaki laid to rest amid fond and fun memories.
Nimehustle, nimepata rent, nimelipa jana. Sasa kitambo nipate hiyo ingine ya kuhama itakuwa lini?
Knee-jerk reactions. Roma residents now being punished for the sins of their landlords. My bullet-riddled body. Pamela's 8 years with 4 bullets in her body. And women on motorbikes, the International Female Riders' Day. Welcome to Weekend Prime. I'm Linda Guto. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Emeresha Oweti. Members of the Kibaki family and the Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta paid glowing tribute to former First Lady Lucy Kibaki with anecdotes about previously unknown attributes of the no-nonsense Mama Lucy. Mrs. Kibaki was laid to rest at her Kanyange home in Othaya, Nyeri County. Duncan Hayemba reports from Nyeri.
President Uhuru Kenyatta led hundreds of mourners who trooped to Othaya for the sending off of former First Lady, the late Lucy Muthoni Kibaki, who passed on 2 weeks ago in London while undergoing treatment. This was the first time Kenya was according a First Lady a state funeral.
I will always treasure the memories of the holidays we shared together in many places. Through you, we bonded together as family by spending quality time together.
My mother was a fearless defender of our family. She always stood by her husband, she defended her children, and she drew an absolute double red line when it came to her grandchildren.
Retired President Mwai Kibaki did not address the mourners.
My mom's death has obviously affected my dad the hardest.
President Kenyatta led a host of dignitaries who are here to give retired President Mwai Kibaki support, including former Tanzanian President Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete. However, there were light moments when her son Jimmy made disclosures about his late mother.
One day I went and I told her, Mom, do you know that every Friday I'm being caned at St. Mary's? And in fact, there's one particular Irish priest who's very enthusiastic, and I think His Excellency the President knows the priest I'm talking about, because I'm told he was quite familiar also with his cane. So I said, Mom, please do something. These Irish priests are caning me all the time. This was at St. Mary's. And she told me, you know what, Jimmy? You're going to be caned, and they're going to continue caning you, because I cannot cane you myself, and you've become a very naughty boy.
Revelations that revealed Lucy Kibaki, the mother, from the very core.
She even told me that a life spent serving only yourself or your family is not a life well spent.
Which also encouraged President Kenyatta to disclose the late Lucy Kibaki's role at a decisive political moment in the country.
I personally, at a time when things were very, very difficult for me, very, 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 very difficult for me, I personally will never forget how Mama Lucy stood very firm, and actually contrary to a number of people. And if it wasn't for her firm stance, hii dunia ingekuwa ingine. Lakini tuashukuru Mwenyezi Mungu,
82-year-old Lucy Kibaki was laid to rest shortly after 4 p.m. at her Kanyange home at a ceremony attended strictly by family members and dignitaries, among them President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Tanzania President Jakaya Kikwete. An extraordinary woman, a woman of conviction and substance in equal measure, is how the late former First Lady Lucy Kibaki has been described. Duncan Hemba, KTN News in Othaya, Nyeri County.
Now, as survivors of the Huruma collapsed building tragedy come to terms with what has befallen them, the government's reaction to the reality of substandard buildings has created yet another group of victims. Many of those evicted from buildings marked for demolition are tonight frantically begging their neighbors in other buildings for a place to shelter for the night. As KTN's Dorcas Wangira now reports, the evictees are now bearing the brunt of punishment being meted on them for sins committed by the landlords. Take a look.
Huruma literally means mercy, an emotion inspired just by looking at the faces of people whose lives for the past week have been shaded by tragedy. Day 7 since the fateful Friday when the building collapsed. Multiple reactions have since manifested here, and it's the decision to evict people in several buildings that has left many unsettled. For those living in those earmarked buildings, a 2-day notice had been given to leave. Many don't understand where the directive came from, the Nairobi County government and its council, the national government, or even their landlords. They know they must leave, and all it took was a glaring red X to seal their fate. By noon, we are told that 7 buildings have come down. Stephen Molwa comes from Yatta. He has lived here for 9 years. Like many, he came here to look for a job, even if it was a casual one. His children, a son Peter aged 6 and his sister aged 8, were born here. He tells us that he had just paid his rent on the 5th deadline, 3,500 shillings. He hasn't had anything from his landlord. He, like many others, don't know what to do or where to take their children. Last night they slept at a neighbor's place. Today is uncertain.
Sasa mimi hata sijui vile naweza fanya. Ndio hata ile pesa niko naye nikienda kwa nyumba zingine huko sinanitisha pesa mingi na sina hiyo. Landlord hata sijaongea na yeye, sijamuona. Unasikia ni kuumwa na tumbo, nasikia kichwa huku macho, sijakula, sijalala. Mimi niko hapa tu nje.
Niko na shida sana juu usingizi na waombea, kukula ni shida, utapikia wapi?
Morina Ching has lived here for 2 decades. She tells us that she doesn't know why the older buildings have to come down. It's the newer ones, she says, that are faulty in foundation.
Nilikuwa nimetegekwa mkono, sasa mimi nilipokuwa nimeenda hospitali. Watu hospitali wakaniambia nipeleke hii mkono, nikapelekwa X-ray. Na hata sikuwa na pesa. Mimi kukuja nikaamba hiyo nyumba imeshabomolewa, nimebomolewa na kila kitu yote. Kuna hata ile kitu nimeokoa.
Many families tell us they've lived here for many years, some even up to 20, as old as some of the buildings here are. They tell us that to be given 2 days to unpack those many years of their lives is unreasonable. By nightfall, they're not even sure where they'll be going or where they'll take their belongings.
Saturday afternoon, Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero added another 7 days to the eviction process. In a statement released to the press, the time given is for the residents being evicted to find alternative places to live, a daunting task. The way of life here doesn't reflect many alternatives. For many like Stephen and his family, the damage has already been done. Dorcas Wangira, KTN News, Nairobi.
Lots of frustration there, of course. Lots of people do not understand that this is in their own good, for their own good. Let's stay with Huruma. At the site of the collapsed building, rescue operations hit what the rescue teams called a home stretch, as the National Disaster Management Unit indicated that they may wind up the operations on Sunday. The 8-day search and rescue mission has seen 140 lives saved, even as the death toll rose to 49. Timothy Otieno reports.
It's the aftermath of an overnight of building destruction that has already seen 3 structures at Huruma Estate downed following the April 29th incident that has since claimed the lives of 49 people. And over a week since the operation began, rescuers continue unperturbed by the ever-increasing body count in a disaster that has seen the building owners arrested and arraigned in court.
Make it animals, make it human beings, either life or death. But the important thing is to ensure that we have achieved all our objectives.
An objective that had the National Disaster Management Unit
9 days without food. It's miracles.
To rescue this white turkey alongside a cat, 2 ducks and another cockerel, bringing the number of animals rescued in the entire operation so far to 16, even as 4 more bodies were pulled out from the rubble. But the Kenya Red Cross officials at the scene raising concern that only 16 of the 49 bodies have since been claimed by their families, urging that those still searching to report to the Huruma Social Hall for identification purposes.
I'm delighted to report that 30 families have already left the camp. This is due to the support that Kenyans are giving each other. So we need to have those families return to their normal lives as soon as possible. So we continue to appeal for restoration of these families so that they move out of those camps.
We have done now, our work done now is 95% work has been completed, I assure you.
With the rescue operation expected to end Sunday evening, members of the National Disaster Management Unit insist that hopes of finding survivors 9 days after the building collapsed are not that far-fetched. Timothy Otieno, KTN News.
Let's go to Kibera now. For 8 years and counting, Pamela Odhiambo has lived with bullets lodged in her chest. She, a post-election violence victim, says she knows who shot her in 2007, a GSU officer by her account. As Dorcas Wangira now reports, Pamela's story is one of constant pain and agony.
For Pamela Ouko, 27, the events of 31st December 2007 are frozen in time. She holds a stark reminder of what she was wearing, where she was, Mashimoni, Kibera, at the epicenter of the violence. By her account, she was in the company of her family and neighbors when gunshots were fired, tearing through her semi-permanent home and hitting her on the chest. She recounts the events after, the help she got, the medical attention she received at the time from KNH, Red Cross and the MSF. No operation was done to remove the multiple bullets lodged in her chest.
Nilikuwa nimetoka baharini kuleta omena Tanzania. Hiyo omena ilienda shopping yote. Niko na maisha baya because wakati mzee alikuwa anakuja kuniona hospitali yale uliwa kwa njia.
She shows us the x-rays she got from her last hospital visit. 3 puncture-like holes visible. She was told that she needs 4 million shillings, a costly operation to remove the bullets that are lodged in. Her breaths are strained. She's not exaggerating.
Kazi siwezi fanya, siwezi andikwa, hata 10 lita yangu siwezi beba. Mi kazi yangu mtu kuletea maji, aniletea hapa ndio nikule. Uniambie nitafanyaje maisha yangu.
Today, she is a pale shadow of her former self. She lives with 2 of her 4 children, 11-year-old Nancy Akinyi and almost 10 Stanley Ochieng. They should be in school, but she tells us that they cannot go because she cannot afford it. When we arrived, She tells us that the landlord was asking for 8 months' rent that has accrued to 16,000 shillings. Pamela tells us that she knows who shot her, a GSU officer known to many in Kibra at the time, a relative of a famous Nyanza politician. She vows never to forgive those who harmed her.
Nipatia watu wangu hata sumu akufe ama hata mimi nikufe ama hii pesa nitafanya nini? Nishakumbuka vitu mingi sahi. Sikuwa nataka hata mimi nifuatilie maneno ya kesi, nilikuwa nataka tu kuona vile naweza fanyia operation.
David Othiambo helps Pamela whenever he can. The father of 4 was 27 when he was shot in 2008. He tells us he was trying to help women and children when he was shot by a police officer. The bullet shattered his knee and tore through it.
Can you forgive him? What they did?
I can forgive him, but I'll never forget.
What won't you forget?
The day I was shot. Since I was shot, I know Kenya has no justice from that time. Can't do any hard work. If I walk even 100 meters, I have to sit down to rest for another 30 minutes.
The shiny things they once believed in, justice, reconciliation, have rusted before their eyes, but they must keep living. Dorcas Wangira, KTN News, Nairobi.
Of course, we hope that she can get all the help she needs to get medical attention. As your court leaders, Kalonzo Musyoka and Moses Wetangula have accused the government of being behind the cold murder of the controversial businessman Jacob Juma. Speaking in Mwingi North constituency during the burial of Wiper Party activist Charles Mutui, Kalonzo said the Thursday night murder of Juma reminds Kenyans of the political assassinations of yesteryears where vocal critics of government were silenced by the bullet. And speaking from Kakamega County during the burial of former Ikolomani lawmaker Seth Lugonzo, Amani National Congress leader Musalia Mudavadi led other leaders from Western Kenya in asking the government to apprehend and prosecute those behind Jacob Juma's murder. Take a look.
Amepigwa kwa sababu yeye alipiga virimbi akasema pesa za Kenya za Eurobond zimeibiwa. Anauawa kinyama. Execution. Mimi nina hakika kwamba serikali inajua ni nani alimuua Juma, Jacob Juma. Na hii hata kufa bure. Ikiwa walikuwa kidhani watazima, sasa mambo ya Eurobond imekufa, sasa ndio wameifufua. Thanks to social media, anajua ni kina nani walikuwa wanapanga kumuua. Na kwa hivyo now the onus is on the government to move swiftly, make arrests.
We have to stand firm. This is a clear declaration that wewe ukipita mbele yangu nitakumaliza.
Are we going back to that era where we'll have hired people to eliminate others? We don't want excuses. We want this government to come clean, investigate, and tell us clearly what was the reason behind Jacob Juma's death and who sponsored his elimination.
The death of Jacob Juma, if not interrogated by us lawyers, probably because of fear and cowardice, Jacob Juma will haunt us.
Right, people, Kenya's decision not to host any more refugees has drawn quite a reaction. We'll be telling you more about that after we take this short break. Stay with us.
Seen as a male-dominated activity, but now more women are taking up motorcycling. Whether it's for the adrenaline rush, the confidence, or freedom, we'll find out today as these women mark International Female Ride Day.
Wind in my hair, there's nothing like it. It's the best feeling ever. If I am a little bit stressed, I ride, it goes. Riding is it's such an interesting feeling, the freedom. You know, the smelling and the sight and the seas, it is totally different.
So many women are now learning to ride in their 30s, 40s, and even 50s.
I'm still a newbie in the riding.
Yeah.
Still learning. Yeah. That's why I opted to start off with a scooter first.
Yeah. Grandma, I'm the oldest in the group. They enjoy me and call me on 24/7 because I'm in my pretty old age. I'm actually over 50, in my 50s.
Yesterday, the Women Bikers Association paid a courtesy call to First Lady Margaret Kenyatta at State House, Nairobi, ahead of the International Female Bride Day.
We are starting our campaign with the border borders, because what we realize is that many women are carried on border borders, but they don't like putting on helmets. And that is it's a risk on safety. The helmet protects most of the part of the body. If your head gets damaged, you're messed for life. So what we're doing is that we want to provide them with disposable balaclavas.
Apart from the fun and the adrenaline rush, riding a motorcycle has its own down and dangerous side.
That particular time I was not a very good rider. So what happens when you panic, you hold on to the front brakes and I also press the back brakes. That way the bike threw me and it also went to the other side. In that I lost this. I messed my collarbone, broke my collarbone and messed my spleen. My love didn't end with an accident. It's like if you really like something, I mean, you trip and fall and you still run. People have accidents rarely and they still go back into the car. It's just a passion.
Female biker clubs are becoming more and more popular. There is a sense of community in these biker clubs. These women have managed to turn a blind eye to personal challenges, societal stereotypes and cultural expectations to embrace the freedom and independence of motorcycling.
Where am I holding you? I'm getting an adrenaline rush just by doing this. And it's just for a short distance. That's my smile. KTN News.
Najma looks so scared. I think she thinks she's going to fall down. They look like they're having a lot of fun, but I'm not so sure I want to try that. You're watching KTN Weekend. Thank you for staying with us. Let's take another short break and pave way for the day's sports news. Large refugee camps, including the world's biggest at Dadaab, is reckless and an abdication of her duty to protect the vulnerable and will put thousands of lives at risk. The two human rights bodies say the decision could lead to the involuntary return of thousands of refugees to Somalia and other countries of origin, where their lives may still be in danger in violation of Kenya's obligations under international law.
Well, their opponents sought their first ever Kenya Cup trophy. From the start, it was evident of the furious battles as the Kakamega-based Kabras preyed on their opponents to take a 3-0 lead, courtesy of a successfully converted Fabian Orlando penalty. Kabras, who were playing their second successful Kenya Cup final, kept the pressure on Impala, and the exploits paid off as Brian Frank Tanga made the first try of the match to make matters 8-0. Another penalty pushed Kabras to 11 points before the Saris replied with a try at the break to make matters 11-5. Both teams found the going difficult after the break due to heavy downpour causing several stoppages. Kabras' bowler handling, however, proved beneficial to them in the waterlogged pitch as they made a second and converted try to extend their lead to 16-5. Fabian Orlando's penalty in the dying moments of the match gifted Kabras their first ever Kenya Cup trophy as the match ended 19-5.
It was a bit tricky because of the weather, but I thank God we came out victorious today.
They've had a good year, and we actually came in as underdogs, and we liked that tag because we sort of slipped under the radar a bit, and the boys came into the game fairly relaxed.
Kenya Harlequins picked up the third place trophy after edging past KCB with a 36-29 win. KCB's Darwin Mukiza was the tournament's top point scorer. Robinson Okenye, KTN Sports.
2012 Olympic bronze medalist Thomas Longosiwa is the winner of the 5,000 meters race in the 2016 Kenya Prison Service Athletics Championships, which entered its final day on Saturday. Alice Aprot bagged gold in the women's 1,000 meters race as more athletes booked their place in the national trials to be held next month.
The 2016 Kenya Prison Service Athletics Championships second and final day on Saturday did not fall short of continental and world champions participating. Olympic bronze medalist Thomas Longosiwa shrugged off competition from Cornelius Kangogo and Peter Imase to claim gold in the 5,000 meters race in 13 minutes 30.3 seconds. Kangogo finished second while Imase emerged third.
Nilikuwa nimerelax yenyewe nilikuwa nataka niangalie ile sprinting ambayo bado niko nayo na kusema kweli ile sprint bado niko nayo.
In the women's 10,000 meters race, Paris marathon winner Veslin Jepkesho was the favorite from the start, but could not handle the intense afternoon heat as 2015 All-Africa Games winner Alisa Prot eased to victory, clocking 31 minutes 41.78 seconds. Pauline Wangui and Pamela Cherotich won silver and bronze respectively.
Ya Olympics si rahisi vile, lakini ningependa tu ni katika ile bidii yangu tu niwe mmoja wapo ya wale wataenda Olympic.
The men's 1500 meters race saw Timothy Cheriot set a new record in the championships after finishing first in 3 minutes 36.1 seconds, and with that booking a straight ticket to the Olympic Games in Rio.
Leo ilikuwa ngumu kidogo kwa sababu dabi ya kwanza ilikuwa juu kidogo. Sasa wenzangu hawakuresist kwa hiyo base ya leo.
Focus will now shift to the national trials which will be held in June. Abula Ahmed, KTN Sports.
Let's look at rally now. Baldev Singh, navigated by Ravi Soni in a group, and Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 9 ended 18 years of waiting when he racked up his second career KCB Kisumu rally title in the wet and muddy terrain around the Chemelil region. This was his first win in Kisumu since 1998, the year the Flying Singh made his Kenya National Rally Champions debut in awesome fashion. He had his campaign effectively 7 up when 6 times former national champion Ian Duncan retired halfway through on medical grounds. Rajbir, son of legendary Sarbi Rai, romped home second, incidentally 14 seconds behind the winner in a Ford Fiesta R5. Well, that's it on Weekend Prime. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good evening. On behalf of Miresha Owiti and I, thanks so much for watching.